Actually, just about, yes. It's,
This presentation was brought to you by
Okay, trying to get this reader to work. This one's my reader that I can reduce power to 2 watts. You don't need the 35-watt transmitter at 2 miles away.
no doubt. Hey, you're doing better, actually. Can you cut the gain back at all? Or maybe just back off the microphone and try that? If that was you, I heard nothing that time.
Whoops, I turned the gain down to 0.
That would be a problem. We might have to wait. It might be time for Joe to be back. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, if you want to try it once again, and then we probably need to back out here.
Alrighty, last test. AE0CF.
Okay. Yeah, it almost sounds a little high yet, but you're getting better. N7GEF. The hum was better on that last few transmissions, too.
Alrighty, back to net, I guess. Wait till earlier. AE0CF.
I guess it's my turn. Good evening, Northern Colorado. This is Kilo Delta Zero, Tango Yankee uniform. My name is Joe. I'm located in Lebanon, and I'll be net control for this evening's Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club net. The purpose of net is to provide a forum for announcements of amateur radio-related events. A meeting time on the air to encourage social interaction between club members and to provide you a point of contact for club board members. This net may be interrupted at any time for emergencies or priority traffic. If you need to use the system for an emergency during the net, please say the word break. Give your call sign. We will acknowledge you and suspend the net until you've advised us that you are clear. Are there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? Once all stations are checked in, net control will ask club board members if they have any announcements, and then call for any other announcements from any other operators. Please be courteous once the formal part of the net is over and allow break-ins from other stations to be part of the conversation. When checking in, give your call slowly using the ITU phonetic alphabet. This evening we have had 13 early check-ins. I'll now call for check-ins from club board members. Club board members who have not checked in earlier, please call now.
Good evening, Joe. This is Whiskey Zero Delta Delta Zulu, Dave and Greeley, Club PAO.
Hey, good evening, Joe in the net. Kilo India Zero, Kilo November November, James in Loveland.
This is a respec N7, November 7, Golf Echo Sierra. Kevin in Fort Collins, and I do have an announcement.
Good evening, Joe. This is November 0, Echo Mike Papa, Greg, Fort Collins, member at large, no traffic. I'd like to welcome N0DDZ, Dave, KI0KN, James, a recheck from Kevin, and N0EMP, Greg, and I got your announcement there, Kevin. I think that's pretty much everybody. Anybody else want to check in? Club board members, call now.
Kilo Delta 0. Kilo Zulu Bravo. Jack and Platteville.
Jack hadn't called for you, but okay, let's open this up to club members. Alpha through Zulu, please call now.
This is November 0, November Yankee, Bart in Evans. I am with November 0, Quebec, X-Ray, Quebec. Gene, good evening to the net.
Whiskey 0, Uniform Sierra Charlie, John in Livermore.
Kilo 0, Echo Victor, Eric near car.
This is Whiskey 0, Delta Alpha Sierra, Dave in Fort Collins.
Eric at K0EV and Dave at W0DAS. Anyone else want to check in? Let's open this up. Club members, guests, whoever. Call now.
Joe, I might have doubled with you. Kilo Echo 0, Oscar X-Ray Victor Scott, Fort Collins.
Good evening, Scott. Anyone else want to check in?
This is Alpha Echo 0, Charlie Foxtrot, Ben Fort Collins.
Somebody help me with that. For some reason I just could not copy that. I got Alpha Echo and that's all I got.
This is Alpha Echo 0, Charlie Foxtrot, Ben Fort Collins.
Did I get the name right, Ben?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I got A0EF. I think that's right. Thank you much, Ben. Finally got you. Anyone else want to check in? Please call.
Break.
Break.
I think the call sign was Alpha Echo 0, Charlie Foxtrot.
Oh, Charlie Foxtrot. Thanks so much, Dave. Anyone else?
November 0, Tango Zulu Uniform.
Tango Zulu uniform. I doubled with you. Come back, please.
November 0, Tango Zulu Uniform. Check in.
And what's the name, please, sir?
Sorry, Bob and Bertha.
Good evening, Bob. Anyone else want to check in? Please call.
This is Whiskey 7, Kilo Romeo Uniform, Rick and Drake.
I signal, Rick. Thanks for calling. Okay, anyone else? Okay, let's move right along. Kevin, I know you're kind of in a tight squeeze, so would you go ahead with your announcement, please?
Okay, thank you, Joe. There is a pending vote to discontinue funding for for the WWV station, and there is currently a petition against stopping the funding for that station so that it can continue operation. I'm hoping that it's been added to our webpage, but DAS, you might have more info on the specifics of how to get to that petition page. So if you have more information to share, please do at this point, because the signing of the petition is very, very simple. It needs a whole lot more signatures, I think, at this point to go through, and I think most of us can agree that that is a station, a service, which benefits us very much, and which would be a difficult, a tremendous loss for all amateurs, and for a lot of other folks. Thank you, N7GES.
KC0ZIE.
Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not on the website yet, but that is the first thing I plan on doing after dinner this evening. So you can look for the information and the link there.
Can I make a comment to that W0LEV?
Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If any of you were listening before the net, I made an observation with Terry. Using WWV as a frequency or time reference, we can indeed claim traceability to NIST. With certainly a more accurate GPS discipline clock, we cannot claim traceability to NIST. Just a thought, guys. I've always used them for frequency reference, and indeed it's traceable. W0LEV, back to cooking.
A0CS, call it.
Go ahead, Ben.
I was really interested in the WWV shutdown, and I was looking at the actual petition, so if anybody's actually requires to sign it, which probably most of us are, currently there's about 2 weeks left in the petition, and we need 84,000 odd signatures. In the first 2 weeks, we've only got 15,000 signatures. They want 100,000 total. Joseph.
Thanks for that, Ben. I appreciate that. Any other comments or things about this? Please call now.
RXF.
Go ahead, sir.
I believe I posted a link on the unofficial NCARC Facebook page, if people want to gander there.
Okay, anybody else have any comments? Go ahead.
K7IRC, Bill?
Go ahead, Bill.
Excuse me, I hadn't checked in, but been following this a little bit. Can someone enlighten me with some practical reasons why the average ham needs WWV? I read the petition, and I'm thinking, I haven't used WWV for 100 years, give or take a few. And so why do we need to keep it? What are some practical, down-to-earth, rubber, where the tire meets the road kind of reasons that it's beneficial to us? I don't need traceability to anything.
MIC. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, one use I have for WWV is I have at least 10 different clocks in my house called atomic clocks, all of which are driven from WWV. They are all set to the same time. They are all exactly correct. My wristwatch, which is a solar-charged wristwatch on which I never need to change the battery, also listens to WWV. And no matter where I am or what time it is exactly correct to within a tenth of a second. When I am using my ham radio and writing down a contact in my log, paper and pen, I look at any of the clocks driven by WWV, or I look at my wristwatch driven by WWV, and I know precisely what time it is. Back to Ned.
Comment, KC0 Gilgate.
And 0 EMP. Marty, did you have a comment?
Well, I do. WWV doesn't send that little bit of information to your clocks. That comes out of a different location, although WWV does feed that location. What is it, Boulder or something, where the atomic clock is. But can't they get that information from, well, I'm kind of being a smart bug right now, but Google? I mean, do you have to have WWV to keep the time? I don't know. I'm like the other guy. I never use it. Most people never, they don't even know what it is. I think it's cool because I can look out there from the farm and see the lights every day and every night. I hate to see it go, but is there another alternative to keep the time? I guess that's my question. And then, you know, like I said, WWV doesn't send that information. They send it, and then it gets resent to those atomic clocks. And I have one too, and I'd hate to see that not be used anymore. Back to net and send it over to Greg, I guess. KC0 Killgate.
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, I had one comment, now I have two. First, to address Marty. The signal that sets all of the quote-unquote atomic clocks, you know, people buy, including my wristwatch and Mark's wristwatch and a million other wristwatches and wall clocks, that's a 60 kilohertz signal that is in fact transmitted from WWV. They say it's Fort Collins, but it's really closer to Windsor. So yeah, it's transmitted at the site here, north of me and pretty much straight west of Marty. That's where the 60 kilohertz signal is transmitted from. That covers all of North America and then some. So there is that, which serves not only hams but a lot of other people too. The other issue that the first gentleman had a question about hams and what good is it for hams. If you are into sideband communication, especially VHF or UHF sideband communication, you can set you can calibrate your transceiver very easily off of WWV with no special equipment. You need an AM radio that can receive it, and then the sideband radio that you want to calibrate, and there's a technique to calibrate the receiver or the transceiver that way with no special equipment. A lot of people that are into the VHF, UHF single sideband have GPS references that they can use that are more convenient, but that requires buying more expensive equipment. So it's useful for that, for amateur radio and 0 EMP.
DAS.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, just to add on a couple things, as Greg said, WWVB, the 60 kilohertz signal, is the one that people tune into. A very interesting story behind it as well. But that's the one that WWVB is not mentioned in the initial articles, but I did find another article through Ham Radio ME. Not sure if anybody's tuned into this one before or not, but they think that, according to this article, that WWVB would also be on the chopping block, which would be quite a blow to anybody like Mark had pointed out, all the atomic clocks that he owns and everybody else owns. I think that would be a pretty darn good reason to question closing down the station. I have never heard anything from ARRL, any opinion on it, and I understand arguments both to saving and not. And my own personal connection to it is, as a 8-year-old kid listening to a shortwave radio, it was one of the most interesting things I could tune in. Got me very hooked to science in a lot of ways, just because, why would you want to measure the time so accurately? What was so important about it? And, I realized as an 8-year-old how closely society paid to that time. So it's got incredible history, and if you're not familiar with it, get on to their website and poke around. The very first station to broadcast music was WWV back in 1920, I believe it was. So very historic. I'm going to time out.
Comment so I can recant, Joe, KC0 Kyoge.
Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, I had that backwards. WWV broadcasts what the atomic clock tells it to broadcast. And I just got to thinking, hey, there's a lot of places I go, I don't have Google or another way to keep time. Look at all the maritime out in the middle of the ocean. They need to know what time it is. And I think it's a viable thing. It needs to stay. I'm for it myself. We need to pour money into it. I was just, kind of thinking, well, maybe you don't need it, but yeah, you do. It's got to be something. I mean, it's been that way forever. It needs to stay that way, and it is a viable thing. So, anyway, I had it backwards, the WWV to the clock, but the clock goes to WWV, and then it goes out to us, and so I just wanted to let you know that I understand that, and so other people that don't understand it now do. All right, back to you, Joe. KC0 Kyoge.
DDZ.
Much. Any other comments about this?
DDZ.
Go ahead, Dave.
Couple other direct benefits that I'd like to point out is a propagation reference as well as a frequency reference, because they transmit on the exact frequencies and are very accurate. W0 DDZ.
Let's move along here. Thank you very much for that, Kevin. KI0KN. James, if you're still in there, do you have anything for us this evening?
I am still here. I don't have anything burning. I've been just beyond buried at work for the last 2 weeks and finally kind of dug out with that. Just a very quick reminder that all kinds of parts are showing up for Rattlesnake Ranch, and I think that the shelter, we'll have to check with Greg, but is getting closer, so we're getting ever so closer to getting that site on the air. And the 220 at Buckhorn is the next project to tackle. So I'll have much more in the coming weeks, but as I said, as I dig out from work, that's kind of my update for the moment. Unless there's any questions, back to you, Joe. KI0KN, thanks.
Every time about this year, we have our picnic. And then I have at least 2 or 3 people that say, well, what time's the meeting on Saturday? Well, as you know, our picnic is going to be on the 15th, which is not it's the weekend after this one. And it will be in Fort Collins. I haven't really looked where it's at, but I know where it's at. I just can't think of the address. But anyway, we will not have a meeting at the Golden Corral. So if is there any questions about that, please call now.
DDZ with Phil.
Go ahead.
That is going to be at 2100 Matthews Street at Spring Park from 11 to 3 on the 15th.
Thank you very much for that. Let's see. Darren, you said you didn't have anything. Greg, did you have anything? N0EMP?
Initially, I did not, but to follow up on James with the shelter for the Rattlesnake Ranch, we have the box identified, and it's a military equipment shelter, double-walled, insulated, 14-foot long, 8-foot wide, 8-foot high. And our initial concern, or one of my concerns, was when we get it up there, then we got to get it unloaded off a trailer. Well, we got a really good deal on a trailer the same gentleman is building for us to put it on, so that we can haul it up there and leave it on a trailer frame, so we don't have to go through the hazardous operation of getting it off that trailer up there. And that, he thinks, will be done this weekend. I communicated with him today. The paint on the inside of this thing is kind of flaking off a little bit, and he thinks he has a solution to strip the inside so that we can repaint the inside. And by the end of the weekend, it might be ready for us, and then he can deliver it as well. N0EMP.
Any questions about that for Greg or James? Go ahead. Okay, Darren, I don't think you had anything, but did you have anything, KC0ZIE?
No, don't have anything additional other than I just posted the link on the website, so that's active currently. Back to you, Joe, KC0ZIE.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Does anybody else have any announcements or things that they'd like to discuss tonight? Please call now.
N0NYY.
Good evening, Bart. Go ahead.
Hey, Joe. I just wanted to point out, if I may, this is a directed net. Net Control runs the net. I know we have a lot of newer hams on the air these days, and that's wonderful, and I'm excited to hear them. We had a lot of doubles early on in the net. So I would just remind everyone that after a person makes their comment, question, or announcement, Net Control will be the next transmitting person. You don't want to be the next transmitting person. You want Net Control to make their statement and then come back and ask for others. So that will make it work a little bit more smoothly. Thank you, N0NYY.
Thank you for that. Anyone else have anything I'd like to talk about? Please call. Just a kind of reminder for you Aries folks, we have got our quarterly meeting on September 22nd, and I have to be 2 places at the same time. We also have that same day, we have our tech class going on the 22nd and the 29th. So I will be 2 places at once. If you notice me going out in and out very fast, that's me. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Please call. Okay, we've reached the gear swap portion of our event. Does anybody have anything they want to sell or something that they really just got to have? Please call now.
KI0KN.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead, James.
I have 2 pieces of gear available to the first person that wants to come get them. One of them is a very small tower. It is 2 10-foot sections, a 10-foot section of standard size, and then a 10-foot top section that goes to a tapered top with a bushing at the top. It is not roan, but it is roan 25 sized tower. It is some kind of commercial tower. It's in good shape. So like I say, it's only 20 feet, but the first person that wants to come to Loveland and pick it up, it's theirs. Secondly, I have an old rotator, which is a vertical rotator for like satellite work. I do not have the controller, but I've got the motor, the whole cross beam and all kinds of stuff, and attached to it is I don't know, probably 200 feet of RG8 style cable. No guarantees on anything, but if there's any interest, again, first person that wants it can take it. So let me stop there and see if there's any immediate want, and if not, I'll pass along my phone number for you to pass along to anyone else.
DAS?
Yeah, go ahead.
James, I'd be interested in your tower sections. Let you know, W0DAS.
Okay, no problem. They are yours. I need to thin things down here, and I'm just running out of storage, so make a great little in-town kind of a tower. Do you have my email address, don't you, Dave?
I do, and I just sent you a quick note, so I just wanted to bring it up since I had decided if somebody else jumped in there, I'd be out of luck. Thanks, James. W0DAS.
Okay, I'll send you contact details and where I'm at and all that good stuff. Anybody interested in the rotator and the big pile RG8?
UNC?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, can you explain what you have there again, the second item?
Yeah, it's a rotator it's the vertical rotator for a satellite array, and I think it's probably an old Alliance rotator. I don't have the exact control box that goes with it. I might have a control box that works with it. I'd have to do some digging, but I definitely have the rotator that mounts. You'll have to mount this on a standard rotator that does azimuth, and then this one will do elevation, and it's got a short boom mounted through it already that you would mount your antennas to, and then between the 2 rotators it would do azimuth and elevation.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. How would you like me to contact you?
Send me an email, and then we'll trade off information from there. The easiest way, my email's got my last name in it, so it's hard to spell. Just send it to TechChair, T-E-C-H, boy, now now I'm wondering if that's the right one. I'm on the Tech Chair email on the NCARC website under the board members. If you just click that address, that'll get you to my Gmail, and I'll respond from that. Sorry. I'm pretty sure it's techchair@ncarc.net, but it's on the NCARC webpage.
DDZ with Phil.
Okay, a little double there. Heard you back there, John, and go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, just for everyone's reference, it is TechChair, TechChair @ncarc.net. Back to net, KC0ZIE.
Thanks, Darren. I think my brain is partially melted after these couple weeks. So, okay, thanks, guys. Dave and John, I'll look for your email and I'll shoot you back all the details. And Joe, thanks for the time. Back to you, KI0KN.
Any other things? Call now. Okay, well, this concludes the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club net. The net lasted 35 minutes. We had 28 check-ins. I'd like to thank each and every one of you, and we will be back next Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, taking early check-ins and starting our net at 6:30. So if there's no other thing in business for the net, the repeater's open for general use. Everybody have a pleasant evening. KD0 TYU clear.
This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.